Okay, this is like a totally different video than I've ever really made because I don't even know if I'm going to post this. It's like going on 2 in the morning, so I'm tired. But I wrote this down because when this hit me, I wanted to say it. And then if you guys like it or agree with it or disagree with it, I'm purely making this because I'm curious, okay? So I'm not trying to coach. I'm not trying to inform. I'm not trying to give any help or info. This is purely an observation, and I want to know what you think. As I was taking my shower, getting ready for bed, I thought to myself, and I go, men literally have all the power in a relationship. Like, this is like shit like the world doesn't want you to know. This is the shit that women don't want you to know. I will explain why. Men have all of the power in the relationship. No, I didn't say half the power. No, I didn't say a third of the power. I said fucking all of the power. Now, why is that? The reason being is because if you think about this at a deep level, use that big brain you got. I know you have one. Female promiscuity. This is the shit that I wrote down. Female promiscuity only exists because men are not sexually disciplined. Okay, take this in for a second. I'm not trying to sound slow to make this shit dramatic either. Just listen to me. Read this or say this one more time. Female promiscuity only exists because men are not sexually disciplined. Okay? What that means is, if you think about, like, this is the shit your dad should have taught you. This is the shit that, like, your grandpa should have taught your dad. And this is the shit that should have been passed down to you. Because you have to understand, your sexual frustration 24/7 not only comes from the cell phone, but it also comes from the computer screen. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. Every big booty thong girl that you see on Instagram that sits there and you're frustrated. You're frustrated you don't have that. You're frustrated you don't have sex. You're frustrated that the girl or the girlfriend that you're with or that you were with in the past isn't as hot as that Instagram model. Every single time you're on these dating apps, this shit is sitting in your subconscious. Okay, so 24/7, like, these are the apps majority of the guys have. Guys have Instagram. Dudes have Snapchat. Dudes have TikTok. Guys have Tinder. Guys have Hinge. Guys have Bumble. So if this is what you're seeing 24/7, you got to understand, you're sitting in this spot where you're sexually frustrated and you feel as if you're powerless. You feel as if you're powerless because the sex is what's controlling you. Your lust, your craving for female companionship, that need for sex, that desire for sex, that's what has you by the balls. And I'm going to explain why. Stick with me on this because this is important shit I don't think I've ever covered, or I've even really thought of it this way. Because you got to understand, channels like mine exist because men don't understand how to either attract women, or they don't understand how to keep women. Or they thought that they were able to keep a woman or a good girl, and then the girl that they wanted is not with them. Okay? What that means is women are not trying to learn how to keep you. Because you got to understand this. Women don't give a fuck. Women don't give a fuck if they have you or not. Because the sex is what's controlling you. If you think about this for a second, stick with me. Men have all of the power in relationships. And I'm going to explain why. The first reason is because all women follow what men reward. Okay? If men reward sex, if men reward promiscuity, if men are throwing money at these women for undressing, why the fuck don't you, like, wouldn't you take your top off too if you were a girl? Wouldn't you pop up on camera and do some weird shit too? Wouldn't you run game on 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 different guys in your inbox and then pick which date you want to go on to if you were a girl? All women follow what men reward. If you reward promiscuity, she's going to follow your lead. Since men as a collective whole follow promiscuity, and that's what you reward, do you understand that all she's going to do is she's going to do what it is you're telling her that you want, or that she assumes that you want? Men lead and women follow. Say that again. Men lead and women follow. And you pick where you lead that woman. Every man, like, I don't care how old you are, like, just general concept, stick with me. And I don't know if this is right. This is just something that I'm thought of. I'm trying to come at this from an element as if I was like a normal YouTuber without a marker board who ran my mouth talking about other shit in his own thoughts for a second. Stick with me on this. All women follow what men reward. You can pick if you want to lead that girl to the bedroom. You pick if you want to lead that girl to maybe being your girlfriend. You pick if you want to lead that girl down to being your bride-to-be down the aisle. Men have always been the leaders. So the first reason why I came to this conclusion that men have all of the power in the relationship is because all women as a collective whole follow what men want. Well, if that's all you want, or if that's what you're pressing for, or you're wanting fast intimacy, or you're wanting to hook up with a chick, yeah, she's probably going to be seduced by your words. It's probably going to be enticing for her. There's probably going to be an element of seduction that happens to where she gets seduced by you. Things don't just happen. Like, no, if you're a man and you're actively trying to date and you're trying to get laid, that's what tends to happen. Women online, or when women post things, they are rewarded, okay? And what I mean by that is if a girl on Instagram takes a scandalous photo with her ass showing or her boobs out, if 1,000 men commented #cover-up instead of hard eyes, like, just think about that. Even like you know how sensitive women are to words. You say one little thing and it pisses them off and they cry for the whole day. Or you say one little thing and it offends them and they think you're a prick or you're a fucking asshole. Okay, like, women's emotions are delicate, which means they're sensitive to feedback. And they're also social creatures, which means the feedback loops that they're going to currently be getting is going to be based on if they're rewarded socially or if what they're doing socially has a negative impact. If 1,000 men on that photo commented "cover up," or if 1,000 men commented "your father is not going to be proud of you," or if 1,000 men commented #cover-up, or whatever you want to say, something that has a negative connotation to showing your body, do you know what happens in that woman's head? Instead of increase in status, decrease in status. If every time she posted a picture like that, she lost followers instead of gained followers, how do you think her attitude would change? If men collectively agreed on the things that we want out of a woman, if men collectively agreed on the things that we're needing out of women, because men don't have a standard, men also don't vocalize what the fuck they want or what they expect out of a woman, men also don't tell or say verbally what traits they want in a woman or in a girlfriend or in a potential like companion one day or a wife one day, men sit there mute, okay? Women want you to talk. Like, there's this weird preconceived notion in like the whole online space with men, how they say, you know, men do, and men don't talk, men do. That's bullshit. You know what happens when you get guys in a room together who care about the same topics? I mean, I have friends like that. Dudes can't shut up. Guys talk and talk and talk and talk for 3 hours. Look at these podcasts that are 2, 3, 4, 5 hours long. Guys can talk and talk. Women like to hear words. Women fall in love with personality. They are rewarded, like, men are rewarding you are rewarding the things that you claim you don't want. We all have. Okay? So first, the first point I'm trying to make, all women follow what men want and they follow what men reward. If you're going to be leading a woman towards promiscuity and that's her social feedback, that she's getting positive input from that, you can expect she's going to continue to do it. Okay? If 1,000 men commented #cover-up, and if every man did that, that would be the last post that these girls ever do. Because these girls don't care about the money or honestly the clout. These girls crave male attention. Do you know why they crave male attention? Because they know deep down that you have all the power. They know deep down that a man's approval is ultimately what they're seeking. The problem with this is that the high value men, even the guys who do make money, the guys who do have social status, the guys who do something in the world and have recognition. These men fall to temptation too. I have been there. We have all been there. I have fallen to lust multiple times. I have fallen to having casual sex multiple times. So what you got to understand is they are going to continue to do, or women are going to continue to do what they are rewarded for. Okay? The second point that I have on the sheet of paper is if, like, OnlyFans models, for example, were not rewarded by men paying them, they wouldn't do it. So that's a big thing right now where all guys are pissed off because, oh, you know, she just does this on camera or she gets paid for it and she makes all this money. Okay, the only reason that there's a market for that is because there's guys who can't control their lust, and there's guys who want to see that so bad that they're willing to go through that checkout page and through that paywall to pay for it. Last but not least, men don't realize we set the tone and we have all the power. And this is what she doesn't want you to know. This is what women don't want you to know. Like, nobody wants to talk about this, but men set the tone. That wake the fuck up. You're bigger than her, you're stronger than her, you're probably smarter than her, you're probably more capable, and yet we as men oftentimes sit there mute. You sit there mute, you don't talk. If you have desire for a girl, you got a crush on a chick, guys don't talk. You're scared to talk to her. If a guy wants to initiate contact with a chick, they're worried about saying the wrong thing. Why the fuck is she not worried about saying the wrong thing to you? Why the fuck is she not worried about not getting your approval? This doesn't make sense. The more I think about this shit, there's something this doesn't make sense anymore. Because I would even consider myself to a high degree a masculinity coach or a dating coach, and I've had millions and millions of views on this channel and tons and thousands of comments. But this isn't getting any better. Like, at some point, the tables have to turn. And, I just make this because, something feels off. My intuition is telling me, something feels off. Men don't realize that we set the tone and we set the power. Or we have, oftentimes, the power to set the tone in all relationships and the expectation that women should hold themselves to. But they won't hold themselves to it unless there's a leader, unless there's a man saying it. And as a collective whole, if men had a standard, things could change for the better. Hear me out for a second. There's 3 additional critical points to this. The first thing that I wrote down was that majority of men with followers or clout or status or recognition, okay, the majority of men with followers or clout or status or recognition who backlash female promiscuity and say this is bad, they demonize it, they say fuck that, the female promiscuity is at an all-time high, this is terrible. These are the first guys to try to sleep with hot women once they get a little bit of fame, a little bit of status, a little bit of clout, a little bit of money. What guys the things that guys today are talking about that they hate is the exact same thing that they're rewarding. The thing, if you have a standard that you don't like that sort of behavior, but you're going to turn around and you're going to sexually reward that, and she's now going to get access to you, what the fuck kind of conflicting signal do you think that that's sending in her head? What type of message is that sending to her? That's not a guy who's strong in his boundaries. That's not a guy who has frame. That's not a guy who's solid in his identity and stands for something. That's a guy who's flexible, who can change based on his pleasures and his shallow desires of what he wants. So that's the first thing you got to understand. A lot of times, guys at the top are doing the same behavior that guys at that all men collectively claim they don't like. So the precedent starts at the top. Okay, the guys at the top have to set the precedent and also be the leaders to come to a collective conclusion that there's a certain standard from women or out of women that we're expecting. That's the additional subpoint that I have. Another subpoint that I have is we say we want virgins or a virgin bride, but refuse to be stronger than temptation. So if you ask all men, what do you want? If you have a wife one day, what do you want? Every guy is going to say a notch count of 0. I don't want that. I don't want another, if I'm, just think about that for a second. I understand we don't live in a perfect world, okay? And I'm no saint either. That's what I mean. All men have fallen to temptation. a majority of women have fallen to temptation. A lot of men have not done the right thing to lead our life in the way that we want, whether you've been sexually rewarded or not. Just hear me out for a second. We say we want virgins or a virgin bride, but we refuse to be stronger than temptation. Well, if we're going to, if men are supposed to be the leaders, and if men are supposed to do the right thing, and if men as a collective whole are supposed to do the things that's going to lead to a good outcome and a good future, if we choose to indulge in things like that, it's going to continue to lead to destruction. Because you have to understand, she will just naturally follow the man's lead. This is why I'm telling you, men have all of the power in the relationships. And you can choose to lead that woman to promiscuity, and then you're going to choose yourself also to go and indulge in that. Or you can choose a different road. Now, majority, men and women, have both chosen a different road. They've chosen a different road of pleasures and gratification. To put this in the simplest of terms, a woman is not able to be a whore unless there's a man who's willing to sleep with her. Because men are not sexually disciplined, we've given away our power. Now, take this one step further. Here's how I know that there's something going on that's fucked up to where the way that people are living, or the way that men specifically are living, is not working. And the reason is because sex is not the answer. Okay, think about this. I've been getting laid since I was fucking 18 years old. Okay, so I'm not acting like I'm some pansy ass who just is all of a sudden on some moral high ground or some moral high horse. I like going out too. I like going to bars sometimes too. I like throwing a party here and there too. I like getting laid too. So I'm not trying to act on some moral high ground. I'm just literally speaking my thoughts. Sex isn't the answer. Think about this. If you are single right now, if you're a single man right now, 100% of the women that you fucked in the past, you are not with. Just think about that. This is the majority of men. High value men. Men on their purpose. Guys every guy who's hardcore on certain concepts online that tells you to build a rotation, these same people also will tell you that expect women to fall out of your rotation. What does that mean? That means sex isn't the answer. Just think about this. If you're single right now, that means 100% of the women in the past that you've had sex with, you're not with. Which means when that relationship dissolved, either you were disappointed about it, or she was disappointed about it. Well, if she's disappointed about it, do you know what she's going to go home and think? Fuck these guys. They're all players. They're all assholes. I don't like any of them. If she's been hurt or if she's been jaded. If you've been hurt or if you've been jaded, you think, fuck this. They're all going to cheat anyways. They all just run their hypergamy and then they're going to look for somebody better. So is it hypergamy? Or is it people have the option to do good or bad? Right? Because if a man, just think about this too. Everyone says, if you read evolutionary psychology or certain concepts you hear online, you hear a man's strategy sexually is unlimited access to unlimited options, and a woman's sexual strategy is hypergamy, meaning she wants the highest value guy that she can get. Okay. Now that might be true to a human's innate nature, who we are. But add a level of complexity to that. If you add a level of complexity to that, each person is going to go through individual thought, feeling, and emotion. That's going to include, is this right? Should I leave this person? If a man's sexual strategy is unlimited access to unlimited options, that means if I'm married, technically, if I'm married and an occasional attractive woman is thrown my way, does that mean I'm 100% going to cheat on my wife? No. Does that mean I'm going to try to go fuck a stripper? No. Not necessarily. I could if I choose to indulge in that. Just like she could choose to cheat or to leave you and upgrade if she wants. The hope is that both people don't do that. The hope would be that both people look out for each other. This oftentimes isn't how it is in practicality, but practicality is also flawed because we live in a world that has high amounts of sexual promiscuity. I don't see this getting better. We as men, I see, are probably going to need a unified code or some sort of unity amongst men of a common belief, because right now we're all over the place. You got some guys who think it's good to hook up, some guys who think it's not. You got, like, people are all over. I don't know if I'm that guy to help bring guys together or to make something like that. I have no fucking idea. It's 2:08 a.m. and this is not a video about to me giving advice. This is not a video about me trying to say I know everything. This is not me trying to say I'm God's gift with all the fucking answers, that's for sure. It's just food for thought. Like, think about this for a second. Men have all the power in the relationships. At least that's what I think. You might disagree. Comment below. I genuinely want to know what you think, because I don't know how you're going to take this. I also don't make videos like this. I make structured videos because I'm comfortable in front of my whiteboard, my marker board. I'm comfortable there because then I have notes. Then I can teach. Then I have presentation. If I have presentation, you can learn something. Okay, comment below. Let me know what you like about this. Let me know if you don't like this. Let me know what you think. Because I see the way that I see men living today, like, from what I've seen, is you can have all of the sex you want. You can try to get all the women. You can have great game. Like, for a lot of men, there's a void there. And as women get older too, they're clearly unhappy if they're, single, and there's a void for them too. So it's like something has to change. Where, like, and it will only change if the men collectively say it will, because you are the masculine, you are the leader, right? You set the tone, you set the tempo. We set the tone, we set the tempo. Let me know what you think.